August 11th, 1900. The lord of the Sweden Vindacator pillager mansion was an illager named Thomas Robert London. Apparently, he hated the villagers and the iron golems and around Canada and the US. He wanted war against each other, along with the pillagers and the Vindicators were really happy. Apparently, Lord London loved his pillagers and Vindicators, that he wanted war. Apparently, the general of the village of the capital village of the Canadian Village Army, his name was General Robert Tonner. General Tonner hated Lord London, so he obviously declared war on this person. Apparently, then a year later, in November 14th, 1901, the war started against each other. There were battles against the Vindicators and pillagers and the Canadian village iron golems and snow golems. The golems and the Vindicators fight each other along with their allies, which are zombies from Portugal. Apparently, including witches too in Brazil. They fought too. There was an attack on the village. There were TNT exploded. Then the pillagers fired their crossbows. The iron golems and snow golems fought against them. There was chaos. Soldiers were getting killed, included Vindicators grabbing their axes. Apparently, the battle was continuing on. Explosions of TNT were heard. December 12th, 1901. During a month after the war, or close to the war, apparently one of the villagers who was very powerful and can give a punch to a death. His name was Harold. His name was Harold Edward Johnson. Johnson can easily take down a Vindicator by his punch, or even a pillager. Lord London wanted those villagers all dead, so he decided. So apparently, the villager learned a lot. He hid and know about the information of Lord London until Johnson dies from getting sacrificed by Lord London. The war continues, along with a militia of some sort of evil villager, testificates. Apparently, then around December 24th, 1901, apparently the Vindicators there was another war around in a mushroom island and somehow a rocky beach. They battled each other's. Apparently, then the war continues. Iron golems and snow golems were fighting, destroying Vindicators' bases. Apparently, it was huge and battling. There were horrible deaths of snow golems and iron golems. Apparently, the battle continued on. Around January 10th, 1902. Apparently, the man, Tonner, was really angry. He was losing the war, but he can try to do it. London's belief was really, really happiness. He was excited for this to win the war. Apparently Sweden couldn't win the war, but they could do it, actually. That the battle began. One soldier named Patrick Alonso was there. He was a spy from the Iron Golem force. Apparently, the snow golems. He was a snow golem that was very, very weak, and he had to apparently be hidden in disguise. Apparently, the Iron Golems had this to say. They had a bunch of disguises. Apparently, but then then battle began. The war then was continuing on. Alonso was audited out by this. Apparently, then they continued to fight. The battle continued. Alonso had ahead. To be continued.